Are you serious? God's got one more move? What? Okay, I want to thank Josh Powell. He designed this shirt, sent it in the mail, didn't even know that it was coming, didn't know he'd made it. He's a graphic designer out of Henderson, Kentucky. And he said he just wants to thank me. He said, I just want to thank you for all you do. Your desire to share God's word is very appreciated among your followers. I've designed you a t-shirt for watching you preaching in New York City. So when I was in New York City, one of the sermons that we preached was called God's Got One More Move. So he's designed it, put it on the shirt. What? Are you serious? So he was watching on television, or watching on the internet, and when we were preaching there in New York. I hope this shirt will stop people in the streets to ask what it means. Hopefully people will become aware of what is going on in the world as prophesied 2,000 years ago. I am a graphic designer in Henderson, Kentucky. I wanted to do something for you that could potentially spark a conversation about the meaning of the shirt. Hopefully it will lead people to Christ. I love your videos and radio show. Keep on doing what God is calling you to do. Well, thank you, Josh. That's very, very nice of you. Very thankful. And let's just talk about, what does it mean that God's got one more move? I mean, in the midst of all of these Bible prophecies, I have right here, thousands of catfish dead in Australia. I want to thank Tom of Highland, Indiana, that sent this to me. I mean, authorities are investigating the deaths of thousands of catfish found floating in the Brisbane River in Australia. Queensland's Department of Environment, I mean, why? No idea. Why were 5,000 blackbirds falling out of the sky in BB, Arkansas? Why do we have millions of fish washing up on the banks all over the world? Why are 400 deer dying in North Carolina, and 7,000 buffalo in Vietnam, and 7,000 bald eagles eating the dead carcasses of rats and scraps and poisonous things up there in Vancouver, Canada? How come 128 bison died in Canada? Can somebody explain to me why 212 dairy cows fell dead at the stroke of midnight, or right at midnight, in a dairy farm in Stockton, Wisconsin? What? 7 million fish wash up on the banks of Redondo Beach, California? Scientists said because they saw something in the ocean and they got scared. What? And they ran to they all swam to Redondo Beach, California and suffocated? Are you serious? No disease, no toxins. When the 99 whales were found dead on the shores in New Zealand 6 hours before a massive 7.1 earthquake hit Christchurch, New Zealand. What? Why are we having the 188-day earthquake cycles that happen? As a matter of fact, I want to thank Bruce Edmonds down there in Florida. Said, Pastor, 188-day earthquake cycle holds. And look at the dates. And he says to me, you got in Chile, February 27, 2010, an 8.8 earthquake. Concepcion, Chile. Why? Because God's got one more move. New Zealand, September 4, 2010, 7.1. God's got one more move. Japan, on 3/11/11, 8.9. Shook the ground of Japan for 6 minutes. Brought a tsunami inland 6 miles. And left 6 nuclear reactors melting in radiation. 28,000 people dead. And right now, a super typhoon is headed for Japan as we speak. Why? Because God's got one more move. And then there was Fiji. September 15, 2011, 7.2. And then there was Mexico, March 20th, 2012, 7.4. And then there's now America, Alaska, last night. September 26, 2012, 6.9. 6 consecutive 188-day earthquake cycles, 7 megaquakes happening. Why? Because God told us in the last days there would be wars and rumors of wars. And nation would rise against nation, kingdoms against kingdoms, famines, pestilence, earthquakes, diverse places. And look at this. Stephen of Oklahoma just sent me this. Iran's President Ahmadinejad meets with Louis Farrakhan. What? Are you serious? I mean, here they are. Boy, what is up with Farrakhan is right here. That is Louis Farrakhan. He's wearing the headphones because he can't understand what Ahmadinejad is trying to say. I don't know if that's some sheik or something over here. Yeah, folks, why do demons get together? Why do demons get together? What's up with that? What? It just keeps... They love to congregate. But God's people love to congregate. That's why we love our show. God's always up to one more move. Let me tell you something. All these biblical signs and all of these events taking place, false Christ, false prophets shall rise, all of these things are leading up to the second coming of Christ. You see, when man sinned in the garden, Josh, you know what happened. Man was pronounced spiritual and physical death that come upon God's great creation. They were driven from the Garden of Eden as angels with flaming swords stood outside the garden. Man was pronounced to have to work hard by the sweat of his brow just to eat. And women would give their desires to their husband and not be spared in childbearing with great sorrow. The curse had come upon the world. Is it over for us? But wait, no! God had one more move. He thought he would have a righteous man by the name of Noah, build an ark when the earth became so wicked and so corrupt that men's hearts were on evil continually. Every imagination of their minds, every imagination of their thoughts was on evil continually. Giants were in the land. As fallen angels had come, had looked upon the daughters of men and saw that they were fair and began to have children that were quite large, 13, 14 feet high. God said, I got another move. He had a preacher of righteousness by the name of Noah. Build an ark. And the animals heard the voice of God. They got in, but man wouldn't. Only Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, their wives, 8 precious souls were saved by water. Surviving the flood, God had another move. But that wasn't good enough. Even when the children of Israel were in bondage and slavery, and God had to send, after 400 years, a deliverer by the name of Moses, spoke to him out of a burning bush and said, go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. He went, but every time a plague came, Pharaoh's heart was hardened, but God always had one more move. Finally, they were set free with the power of the blood of a lamb. They were baptized by the Red Sea, drowning Pharaoh and the horsemen and the riders in the sea. Miriam danced the joy of victory. But they were in the wilderness. Moses received the law on Mount Sinai, but he broke them at the anger of their idolatrous worship. But God had one more move. He told him, go back up on the mountain. Commune with me, Moses. Here's another set of tablets. Go back down. Get the people into Canaan. Joshua finally carried him across. They defeated all the Hivites, Jebusites, Amalekites, and all the other Ikes. Finally taking the land of Canaan, where Israel is currently a nation today. But folks, even though they had gotten to Canaan, man's sin still needed an atonement. And that's when God said, hey, I got one more move. He sent his son Jesus to die on the cross, to set men free from sin, to break the chains that bind our souls, and to give us the final eternal atonement only could be provided by a precious lamb, his own son, Jesus Christ. But man is rejecting the plan. Many are choosing it. You can today. But some refuse. And the wickedness continues. As I got an article right here. 300 people died in Syria yesterday, the worst day in history. It's getting worse, worse, worse. What do I do? What's going to happen, Pastor? God's got one more move. Jesus is coming back. The King is coming. And when he comes, this is the final move. He's going to come and rapture his... Oh, my God. Are you ready? Are you ready? The bride, are you ready? He's coming to get us. He's coming to raise the dead. He's coming to take us to glory. He's going. We're going. We're going. God's got one more move for you. Give your life to Jesus.